Alright, so maintenance time. Got quite a bit of oil that seeps out of the air box. Need a new air filter too, but it all seeps out in the air box. Did my research. Turns out it's this reed breather. A little flap, it lets out the like the combustion gas out and lets it vent out. And also I went and picked up some oil since it's been seeping quite a bit. So all we gotta do is just take these bolts out. Let's just get started. Never mind. Alright, so with our 8mm, we just need to take out these 3 bolts here on the top, holding on the plastic cover. Alright, so then next we need to figure out what size that is so we can take off the flywheel, because we need to get underneath the flywheel. So now we need to get the flywheel off. That was a lot smoother. Okay, so since we don't have the puller, I'm just gonna put the nut back on it so that way I don't damage the threads. And then just bang out with a hammer until I see it start to move, and then try to pry it up. There we go. Alright, so what we need to do now, once we got our flywheel off, is we need to take out these, how many bolts are these? A few bolts to get this cover off, but first we need to get the gas tank off. But first, what we need to do is the gas line, we need to pinch it around here and then take it off from the carburetor side. So I had to take off the air box to get to the fuel line for the gas tank, but we got that. So now we can take this off, which are these bolts, and this comes up, and then we should be able to find what we're looking for. And then you have to have something holding down your engine brake so that way you can get this off, or else it would be in the way. So let's take this off. So actually, forgot one more thing. We gotta pop off the oil dipstick so we can get this off too. And then shove a rag down there so we don't get anything into our motor, because that would be bad. Alright, so then with the same 8mm, we gotta take off all of these bolts. There it is. So we got this shield off, which is right there, and bam, there it is. That's what we're looking for. We have to take this little thing off. This is the flap that flaps up and lets out the crankcase pressure. There we go. Crankcase pressure out, and I believe that's what's causing it to shoot out excess oil, because this is going bad. So I think this should be a 7 or 8mm bolt as well, but to find out. All right, so this is a 7/32 socket. Gonna do this one by hand, and then he's gonna take off a little bolt. This will open up a hole and make sure not to drop your bolt down. All right, so we need to save this little itty bitty bolt right there. And then this is what we're replacing. We don't need this one anymore. So grab our bolt that we just took out, stick it back in the hole, line it up, get it started. Make sure it's in straight though. Don't want to cross thread it. Alright, so now it's started, you can get it centered up the way you need it. Grab your ratchet back with your 7/32 socket and just tighten this thing down. Alright, wait, don't put the tin back on. See, there's silicone here. You want to get all the silicone up on around here, and same thing for around here. Alright, so next, once you got it all cleaned up, you need to apply your silicone. Make sure not to get it in the threads. You only want to get it around the outside. Alright, so next you need to put your little aluminum shield back on. And put your bolts back in it and snug it up lightly, and then let the silicone sit for an hour. Alright, so once it's been the hour of the silicone setting and drying, go ahead and snug those all the way back down for the little tin. Then you put your dipstick back in so you can tell how much oil you have. Then next, after that, we're gonna put our gas tank back on. Gas tank's super simple. Just these two little clips. Bam, it's slid into place. Now we just gotta get this fuel line back on. Okay, so next we're gonna put our air box back on. Oh, like that. Okay. So the 8mm go on the outside, and 7mm go on the inside.
You're so good, you could work at Kia.
Really? Think I would get that far?
If you cross-threaded, it's better than Loctite.
Yeah, it's true. I don't need to get this part anyways, do I? Okay. Now we switch our 8mm out for our 7mm. Got this. Wrong side.
Wrong side. Good job. I trained you well.
Now we put our 7mm on the inside. I really hope those are in straight. Alright, so next we want to put our flywheel on. Make sure to line up your thingamabobber with your thingamabobber.
Keyway.
Keyway. What the stupid magnetized flywheel. There we go. Okay, put our top piece back on with our washer inside. Okay, and then, oh yeah, we need the nut on, and then kind of just go like that. And our flywheel's back on. Now, we need one more piece. We need our top plastic doohickey. Okay, now, finally, we'll test and see if it leaks or not. Okay, so now we know it runs. Sound it off so you can hear me. Okay, so since we took it apart, we should know the bottom is our carburetor. The bottom hole in the air box is for our carburetor, and the top is for the crank pressure release. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little paper towel, put it over the top hole like that. So we don't want to put it over the bottom hole because it can't breathe and it'll shut off. So put it over the top hole, and if we still see it moving out, then we messed up, or it could have helped and it could be something else like rings, your piston rings, or a blown head gasket or something. Looks good to me. Now all I'm doing is just cleaning it up so I can see if it happens again.